I'm telling you right now, I don't know much about defensive strategy and football in that sense, but I am fucking crying myself to sleep the day before we have to play the Bucs.
Welcome back, everybody. Targeting Podcast, Episode 2. Like and subscribe the video. We got a lot at you today. We got a lot to talk about. First, though, it was Hoolie's birthday on Monday, so let's just give a round of applause for Hoolie.
Big 19.
Big 19.
Can't really do anything much that's illegal, but, you know.
He celebrated. He could have been there.
Exactly.
But now we're here. We got a lot to talk about today, so we're going to start off with the World Series. The Dodgers won the series. They took the series. Damon, do you want to fill us in a little bit about that?
Yeah, we ended it in Game 6 2 nights ago, 3-1 score. Really missed Mookie a little bit extra that night.
Yeah, especially when he came out afterwards and said that he thought he was going to be a Red Sox his whole career. That definitely hurt a bit.
That hurt a little bit more.
It was a terrible prediction.
Tough to hear. What else we got on that series? So went to 6. Was that surprising for you guys? Did you guys think it?
I think everybody thought it was going to be 6 or 7 Dodgers. Dodgers were too strong of a team to not take it home.
I really
definitely.
thought 6 or 7. I was a little surprised it went to 6. I thought the Rays would pull something out of their ass on Game 6 and maybe take it to Game 7. But
got Randy Rosarina. He was really lighting it up throughout the series.
Yeah.
The cost of the whole Rays team is just about what Mookie Betts is getting paid for. But he proved it. Gotta give it to him.
It really does. I think the big story with the whole series win just comes back to Justin Turner.
Yeah,
which is a little amazing to me. He comes out, he gets kicked out of the game for a positive COVID test.
In case you haven't heard, Justin Turner came out with a positive COVID test. They took him out in the 6th inning.
9th inning.
Yeah.
Right in the 9th. Missed the celebration.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He missed the celebration, but no.
I heard they put him back out there, though.
No, he came back out for the celebration. He kissed his wife, and he sat right next to a past, I don't even know who it was. He had cancer, though, and he's a part of the management on the team. He had cancer, and he sat right next to him with no mask on.
Yeah, I think because he's a free agent, the team just said, we don't know where he's going to be at next year. We're not going to take his celebration away from him. I think that was a good play, honestly. I mean, obviously it's extremely serious, the virus and everything, but that's just tragic in the 9th inning to get pulled from a World Series celebration. I don't know. That seems cruel.
I think at that point, if you're gonna pull him, there's no reason you should be bringing him back out if he got a positive test or vice versa. He might as well finish the game if he's got it. He's already going out there and kissing his wife, and his wife's interacting with everyone on the field. He's interacting with everyone on the field. No mask on.
He played the whole game.
And he played the whole game
with everybody else. So yeah.
I mean, look, nothing about politics or anything. Obviously, I think that you got to play it safe. But if you're going to go to that point, you might as well just.
Do we think the MLB handled it well in general? No. Personally, I know with the NBA and NHL, I thought they handled it beautifully with the bubbles, and then NHL they had it right. They had one in Edmonton, and they had another
Toronto.
In Toronto. Yep.
So I thought they handled that beautifully. I thought the NBA also handled it beautifully. I thought the MLB was kind of we'll take it as we go, which I don't think is the best strategy. But
it's the same thing the NFL is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been all over. It's just they were down the street from me. I'm in San Diego right now. All the players are there. You can see them walking on the streets. It's different.
Do we think this gets MLB season's obviously over, NBA season's over, NHL season's obviously over. Do we think this gets worse in the NFL as we come to November, December? Temperatures. Do we see an increase in cases in the NFL?
I don't even know if it's going to be an increase in cases. I just don't think it's going to go away. All the policies and everything are going to – it's just going to be – whatever's happening now is going to keep happening because, you're getting, back these – it's just going to be a continuous cycle of the question what player is going to get COVID and what player is going to miss week 9, week 10. And they'll be back probably in a week or two depending on how how they're handling it. I mean, you saw Cam – tested positive and he came right back after what was it?
It still makes an impact on the team, though.
But it still makes an impact on the team.
Yeah.
Practicing all the time. Patriots had like 2 practices that week.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
NFL,
and then
you're a lot more.
his first game back, we lost to the Broncos.
Right.
I mean, we
You're all-
lost
yeah.
2 games. We didn't lose 2 games. We lost to Kansas City and then had a bye week, fortunately, which kind of worked in our favor. Yeah, I mean, it hurts for your team to lose some of your star players for a week or 2 at a time. That's terrible. And I mean, it's pretty clear. You either do a bubble or you don't. And obviously, the bubble works better, but for those leagues, you lose out on a lot of money. So I could see why. And you want to have fans there. The players don't necessarily want to spend a bunch of months in a bubble. And it's different for the NHL and NBA because it was the playoffs. You're playing for the trophy, but to do it for a whole regular season, you can't ask the NFL players to stay there for 6-7 months straight.
Right, and MLB and NFL
And
have fans too.
Yeah.
They have fans. They're just
And the
spaced out.
team size, there's a team size restriction too. You got you have including IR and practice squads, which you're allowed 10 players or whatever. You got 70 players plus with management, coaching.
Yeah, in the NBA it's 15-man rosters where it's 53-man rosters in the NFL. It's completely different for each league. So definitely a bubble is more effective, but you can't really make it work all the time. And I know that the NBA is not looking to do a bubble when they come back. And the NHL, I think, is thinking the same. So before we end up moving on from that, what do you think about Corey Seager getting MVP?
Batted 400 in the postseason with 2 home runs.
I think it was well-deserved.
World Series with 2 home
I think it
runs.
was well deserved. I just think I would have liked to see Mookie get one. Mookie get that MVP.
Yeah,
Just,
being biased, you always
He's got time, man.
you wanna
12 more
get
years.
good and Mookie.
Yeah.
But
true. It's true. He just had an unbelievable postseason, though. It's tough, really, to pick who the MVP on the Dodgers is going to be. I mean, you got so many unbelievable players, but Corey
It's an
Seager
all-star
definitely
team.
well deserved.
definitely well-deserved.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring this up. I know it wasn't really on the list of things we were going to talk about tonight, but what do we think the seasons are going to be like going forward? Because there was a delay. Are we going to see the MLB push back? Are we going to see – I mean, I guess not the MLB, but –
Yeah. So
all
I think
the
I
sports
think
teams.
yeah, I think the NBA did Justin was telling me earlier in the week that the NBA is trying to get back slowly to normal. I think they were trying to get it back to December or something.
Yeah, so they just recently, since the bubble ended, all the talk was that it was going to be MLK Day, which is January 18, would be the opening day of the season, or even as there was talks as late as Valentine's Day to start it for next year, just because you're waiting on a vaccine. But it's more and more the thought that we're not going to have a vaccine by then, so why would you wait the extra 2 months? So now they were just mentioning the other day that it has to get approved by the NBPA first, but they're looking heavily into starting on December 22nd opening day and training camp starting December 1st. So we'd be seeing basketball before Christmas, which is a month at least earlier than I ever thought we would be, which is pretty crazy. But for some of the players, you got to think the Lakers and Heat were just playing 2 weeks ago. That's really short off season, and the draft is November 18. That would mean free agency would have to open right after that, and training camp start December 1. That's a lot that has to happen for December 22 to be opening day. So we'll see what happens, but that's at least good that they're talking about starting it that early.
Yeah, I think for most teams, I guess for most leagues, it might not be entirely that affected just because MLB, they end the same time. NFL, if they can get through cases and stuff, they'll probably end on time. So I really think the only kind of talks right now are NHL and NBA. I think the NBA will slowly work. I think what they'll try to do is slowly work back to that normal start time. Obviously, you're not going to get there back in one season. So if the NBPA does end up pushing it out to January or February, I do think they'll eventually try to make it. Because, I mean, that or we could see just a change in era where we're just starting NBA seasons in February and ending them in.
Yeah, I don't know how exactly you get all the way back to normalcy. I really don't.
But hockey, what are you going to do about hockey? Hockey's not going to go through the summer now, is it? Because that's what it's leading up towards.
I know.
Weird.
I know. I mean, it's hard to think, but I don't know how you can't just erase an off season. You have to give players a certain amount of time. So I don't know how you just get back to the normal calendar schedule. I know that the NBA specifically is trying to finish up next season before the Summer Olympics next year, so that the basketball players can go play for their respective countries and everything. And also, they don't want to be competing with NFL at all because that went horribly with the bubble. even in the NBA Finals, literally the last series, Heat Lakers, there were like 5 million viewers per game for the finals, and like on a Thursday night, and Thursday Night Football had 13 million people watching, like a Jets Dolphins game. Like, that's crazy. So they don't want to compete with the NFL. That's America's sport for sure.
Yeah,
Another thing, it's all business too with these. The way they set it up from the start with the seasons is based on also viewership and stuff. Like, I remember, it's not related, but in some ways, but Arizona Coyotes and the Arizona Cardinals had an issue. Arizona had to push a lot of their home games back till after the Cardinals season, which they assumed that the Cardinals weren't going to go far, so they did it a little earlier, but they had to push it back because everyone goes to Cardinal games over Coyotes games. And both teams are not good, but people would rather see football than hockey, at least overall, as much as I hate to admit it,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
football is definitely the one.
I
Go
think
ahead, Jerry.
I think it's something you look to, like, you keep improving on. I don't think you get there in one day. I don't think the MBPA is going to agree to a December start date. I personally think they'll want, I mean, especially the Lakers and Heat, and everyone knows that league's run by LeBron. So I think,
Exactly.
I just think that it's going to be something that they might try to work towards, like like maybe shortening the off season by minute amounts up until they can get back to a normal point. But I think at least for next season and probably the season after that, we'll see just playoffs like now, as of now. So
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing sports in the summer, more sports in the summer than normal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be something we're going to have to get used to. I think if there even is a vaccine, I don't know how well it will work, and I'm not going to get into that too much, but I don't know how well it's going to work, and I don't know how widespread it's going to be in terms of just getting everyone back to normalcy. So I think even once there's a vaccine out, I think that's why the NBA is trying to, because they realize even if there is a vaccine out at this point, it's not going to be effective for their season.
Another problem with the vaccine too, I mean, not going off on this, but just to add to it, that teams have to think about is that whether it's going to be effective or not, you also have to consider that when they poll or do a consensus for how many people would actually take the vaccine, the numbers are very low for who would actually take it on the first phase of the vaccine. Most people don't take a vaccine until you're into the second, third, fourth stages of testing, and you get back much higher results. So,
Yeah, I think it's just a problem with, I mean, these are professional athletes. I mean, when Donovan Mitchell had it, and I mean, Rudy Gobert obviously lost his sense of smell, but Donovan Mitchell didn't feel a thing. So I think for a lot of these athletes, if they do get COVID, it's going to be very asymptomatic. It's not going to they're not going to be that high on the list in terms of getting the vaccine. I think the leagues realize that, and I think that's why they have to adjust. I don't think the vaccine's going to be the release of that's going to be that helpful for them. And in terms of players, I mean, obviously they can get fans back a little bit probably, but yeah, it'll be
which is the other thing that the NBA said too. It's going to be city by city. Each stadium decides what they're going to do about fans. But they do. I mean, the NBA lost a lot of money doing that bubble in Orlando. Like, it was awesome as basketball fans to get basketball back, but no fans for that long. They lost a lot of money doing that. So they definitely need to make money back, and they're not trying to do a bubble again. That's for sure.
Definitely.
So we'll see how that ends up working out.
Yeah,
they did, but at the end of the day, we want to be back as fans, and it's not making them any money. So
yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think we got a long way to go. I think definitely, like, just this winter season will definitely depend. Whatever happens will definitely how COVID goes this winter will be how the NBA, NFL, NHL, that's what they're going to determine how they run their seasons on. Because if it gets better, then if COVID gets overall better, then we could see that shift in seasons. But if it gets worse, then I mean, you're not gonna see fans. You might not even see sports. So we'll just hope for the best on that one.
Let's definitely hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't think I could wait a whole year for sports.
Literally. But all right, well, kind of go on
as far as other sports news goes.
Yeah, let's go on a little happy note. So new jersey releases, Dallas Stars, Vegas Knights. I know John and Justin have more thoughts than perhaps Damon and I will, so we'll let them take that. How do you boys like the new jerseys? I mean, I saw them. They looked really nice. I especially like the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, those Dallas Stars jerseys are ridiculous, but
nice.
Vegas have that. They got those gold ones now too. Those are sick too.
Can I get those up on the screen? I got them. I'm getting them up on
Screen share.
Yeah, let me just pop on and see if I can find.
I personally am gonna get a Kraken sweatshirt, Seattle Kraken sweatshirt. So I'll be in the coming podcast. So
I don't know what you're doing there, but yeah, let me. Oh, okay, you gotta undisable screen sharing. Do you know how to do it?
But yeah,
I can just turn my monitor around.
Do you want me to try?
I'll do.
I don't know.
Let's do this right here. And a nice little. Neon green on all black. That's just unseen.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, they're super clean.
Here. I don't think I've seen that design yet from Dallas. I like how they kept the star though. The one thing I liked about their jerseys, the new logo they produced a couple years back.
Yeah, I mean they're like home away and now alternate set. It's just that is a hell of a set of 3 jerseys.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. I'm kind of digging these Vegas Knights jerseys even more, and you can't really tell in the video, but this is like a straight like gold like felt. If you look
they always have a texture to theirs. So that's pretty crazy.
They have a material texture to that,
and I mean they're gonna have Alex Pietrangelo wearing those now. Now that
that's another
Torrey Krug took his spot in St. Louis, that's crazy. I mean,
yep.
Boy, I mean, as all of us here being Bruins fans, losing Torrey Krug, it's just horrific. It's literally the worst nightmare.
How does that? I know John and Justin have been talking about it for a while, but how does that affect the Bruins' future in terms of championship aspirations?
He was our. Looking at the team's defensive side, he's like our second, third most veteran defenseman. At least, when you look at going through the program, I mean, you have Chara who's been through this, so we're not going to get into that because that man's just a fucking ancient stone. Probably should be get him a 6'9" coffin. But Krug has been with us since 2012, 2013 playoffs, and the man from the start of those playoffs was unbelievable. He had great, phenomenal goals. Young kid then. He's really gone through the program well. Ups and downs with Sweeney and the management, which I don't agree with because
it's just terrible. I mean, Don Sweeney
he's been nothing but phenomenal. And from interviews and when you meet this guy, he is. I've had the chance of just meeting him real quick, but he seems very genuine. He's a. It
sucks because he wanted to stay. It really sucks. He wanted to be here, but he didn't get an offer from Don Sweeney because Don Sweeney is an absolute moron. And, that might be a little harsh to some people watching, but if you know anything about the Bruins, every single offseason is a loss. I mean, we never bring anybody in. The only decent moves Don Sweeney's ever made, you could argue, are at the trade deadline for a few month rentals for a playoff push, which we need to be signing players in the offseason, or not even signing new players, re-signing our own. The amount of talent that's walked out the door because we didn't offer them a deal is mind-blowing. And it's just, I mean, we lose Joakim Nordstrom, one of the best penalty killers on the team as well. He went and signed a league minimum in Calgary. We're not going to offer him a league minimum. He walks in the office and Don says, "Oh yeah, I'm interested in keeping you here, but I don't want to be too aggressive." He's like, "Oh yeah, all right. How does the league minimum sound?" "That's way too much. We're not doing it. Get out of my office." What the fuck does that mean? I just don't understand. I don't know
how you can't give him a league minimum for a guy that's played his ass off. Probably the most hardworking guy on that bench. When you're looking at overall, not necessarily goal production, but just play production.
So,
and then, sorry, I'm going to say of all the Boston sports teams, I'm going to say from the start, and not everyone's going to maybe agree, but I think Justin's on the same page as me. I don't like the Bruins management of their own players and the facilities and key things that they have in the team. Another thing that you have to think about is when Seattle comes in as a new team, like with Vegas, we're going to be losing another star player, and I swear to fucking God, if it's Corrali, I'm going to shit the bed. Because Corrali is going to get taken because we're going to lock in Zdeno Chara, who we signed for a $1 million contract for a year, and this man can't even fucking skate. if you put him on fucking, oh my god.
Is Chara on the team next year? Because
He has not
I
been
heard-
re-signed yet. He has not been re-signed yet.
So do we think he's going to be re-signed?
Chances are we'll give him like a 1-year deal for close to league minimum, just
It'll
because
be-
he doesn't
basically-
have much value anymore. We won't lock him in the Seattle redraft, but
We better not.
we might
better.
not. Corrali is an example of a guy that could slip through the cracks, and it would just be a damn shame. But as far as just losing Torrey Krug, though, I mean, he was the number one free agent in the NHL this offseason. You could argue Taylor Hall, I guess, but it's Torrey Krug if you ask me. But and to just not even give him an offer at all is just upsetting. And he signed for $6.5 million a year. That's absolutely not unreasonable to pay for Torrey Krug.
And on NHL defensive ranking, we have 2 of our defensemen. And I don't think many teams had 2 defensemen on there except for probably Tampa, St. Louis, and a couple other West teams. But Krug was, I think it was a top 16 or top 20. Krug was like 20, which is still a pretty hard place to get on the top 20. And
that seems way too low.
McAvoy was put at McAvoy was put at 10. Now, if you ask me, we still have a solid team. You know, I'm just still liking what we have.
Yeah,
but
I think we'll be in the conversations again this year to run at the Cup, as long as Rask is playing in between the pipes. He can't. I don't know what happened in the bubble. I know he had a family situation that he had to go 10-2, which is fine. Family comes first. But if he just gets his head in the game and plays a full season, I mean, he was top 5, top 10 in Vezina candidates this past year. We'll make another run. It's just to think that we could have had Krug and McAvoy for the future as a D pair, as a young D pair, and now we don't. It just hurts. But
and especially him going to those colors. We're not even getting into the argument. I'm not even talking about it. But he's going to he could go to any team. But he has to go to the Blues.
Well, when we don't give him an offer, we don't give him much of a choice. So I can't be mad at him for that.
You know what? Fuck you, Don Sweeney. I hope you're watching, and I hope you can suck my nuts.
So when will they get rid of Don Sweeney is the real question. Like when
No, they won't.
God, no.
They won't. And
Why
Don
not?
Sweeney, you are an idiot. You are an idiot, Don Sweeney. Listen.
Everyone is eating out of Don Sweeney's ass. They're eating straight chocolate.
All right.
Chocolate cake
No, we're not
out of
gonna get
Don
rid of him.
Sweeney's
We're not
ass,
gonna get rid of
and you got fucking every coach has got his brown ass nose shoved in that asshole.
Why aren't we going to get rid of Don?
Because they just agree with every decision he seems to make.
Everyone knows on this. I mean, you guys will find out on this podcast, and I'm sure you know by the amount we're talking that Damon and I do not know the most about hockey. But why wouldn't you get rid of a guy like Don Sweeney? I mean, he's historically, Justin, you said, have gotten rid of players that we shouldn't have gotten rid of. Doesn't it seem like an obvious choice?
It does seem like an obvious choice, but it just, unfortunately, that's not how it goes sometimes.
Down to another thing, hockey's a little different. It's not like players leave teams just to make super teams and all that. Players leave because of contract deals and stuff. And Don Sweeney, for the most part, is one of the better managers compared to most teams. Most teams just shit the bed as well when it comes to off-season stuff. And I'm not saying he's great, Justin, but he's had some good moves. And people like Cam Neely and the upper executive boards.
I know Cam Neely likes him. That's why I don't think he's going to leave.
It's a politician thing. It's like politics. If they like you and you've been in the system a long time, they're going to keep you, and that's how the NHL is geared. It's not money and all that.
I definitely wouldn't say that he's a good GM though.
If that's an NBA team, you know.
I don't think he's a good GM, but I think there are worse GMs, but I don't like him.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I know we can move on. But
do you want to move on from that?
Just Petrango go to the Vegas Knights. That's a strong pick there, and Buffalo picked up Taylor Hall, and
that's big for them too because they need to keep Jack Eichel happy, and they can't lose Jack Eichel whatever they do. So bringing in Hall was good for them.
In the last couple seasons, they've been a team that's on the edge of making those playoffs, and then they've kind of struggled towards the end. And I think with Taylor Hall, that might maybe secure them that like last seed, maybe.
Yeah.
In a couple years from now, if Eichel's happy and everything like that. So
yeah.
Very interesting. Love to hear your thoughts on that, boys. We'll move on.
Even a better talk, NFL.
Definitely. We got a lot to talk about in the NFL. So I think the biggest news, and AB is going to the Bucs. So
check your fantasy.
We'll go round table on this. So Justin, what are your thoughts?
I think that it is I mean, the amount of weapons Tom Brady has now with Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin at wide receiver, Leonard Fournette, and Ronald Jones at running back, Gronk, Cameron Braid, O.J. Howard. It's unlimited. He's got a great O-line in front of him. He's got a solid defense. They're a great team. I very well could see them meeting Kansas City in the Super Bowl. But I'll still take KC. I'm not going to lie to you. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league at this moment, so I'll still take KC.
Okay.
But you go ahead, Damon. You go ahead.
Yeah, now I'll be interested to see how AB actually does perform when he's on the team. I mean, we saw him on the Pats briefly. If he's a head case, I don't think Tom's really going to control that. If Bill couldn't really keep it under control.
Yeah, but Andy Reid takes no shit.
John, what are your thoughts, John?
You know, you're looking at quarterbacks right now, and Tom had an unbelievable week last week. He had, 33 points on fantasy, roughly?
Yeah, he had a great week last week.
How your league does points. He had 33 for ours. I have him as a backup, just in case, because he was throwing well and everything. He's been getting yardage. And he's thrown, 18 touchdowns now?
Yeah.
And the Pats overall, 18 passing. And the Pats overall have 3, I think I saw a stat.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable to me. And when you have weapons like he does with Godwin and Evans, and Godwin's questionable now, but they're trying to watch him. But when he's healthy, he goes off. And Godwin went off when he was healthy last week. He left to get surgery for a fractured finger, but I think he had seven receptions for over 100 yards with a touchdown or 2. And that's just unbelievable to me. And Antonio Brown, in his first game with Tom Brady in New England, he was pretty strong. And I think we were all hoping that we could see him continue to just get more receptions each game. I think they just got to kind of fit him into the system. But Tom seems to like him, and I think that the reason they signed him is because Tom said something about it.
Yeah.
And I think that Tom wants him for a reason, and it remains to be seen why. And I think that it's definitely no surprise that Tom gets AB right as KC grabs Le'Veon. I think that's just Tom's trying to stack up his team because he wants to run for that last room. And I think Tom's telling everyone that this is probably going to be his last or last 2 years. And right now he wants a super team that's going to last those 2 years. KC's going to be the team that lasts for God knows how long with Mahomes on that deal.
Do we think AB pushes them over the edge, though? Do we think that's kind of the last piece?
Well, Le'Veon's going to push them over the edge. That's the question, too. Le'Veon didn't really have a good performance his first week. He only had 6 carries for about, 60 yards?
Yeah.
Not even. I think 39 yards.
I think it was 39. It wasn't even 60. And that's not right for your first game.
That was his first week there, though. And they have Edwards-Helaire, who's really good, and they like him a lot at running back. So they're going to be sharing snaps for the rest of the season. And I think the Chiefs are playing the Jets this week, so Le'Veon's going to have a chance to have quite the revenge game against the Jets. And I think he will. I think he'll have a great week this week. And I think the Chiefs will literally murder them. I don't know what the final of that game's going to be, but it's not going to be ugly. It's at Arrowhead, too. But anyways, I think that – so the Bucs front office didn't want to touch AB at the beginning of the year. They said – there were rumors then, too. Yeah, and they said, he's not the right fit for our locker room. So for him to be here now means that Tom really vouched for him and pushed for him. So Tom must really want him there. So
and it's on Tom if he makes a mistake.
It could push him over. I'm not sure.
I think he definitely had enough weapons. But I think AB's just kind of that guy that, worst case scenario, people get injured. I don't know. Stuff doesn't work out. AB's someone who I think personally, you guys can agree or disagree with me on this. So we know AB's had problems before, right? He had that whole Steelers situation. So yeah. I think generally
definitely a head case.
Definitely a head case. I don't think teams are just willing to sign a guy like that. So I think AB to some extent knows, hey, we got this. I got this, in my opinion, the GOAT. You have the GOAT that wants you, right? Wherever he goes, he's probably going to want you because AB is still a great wide receiver. But he knows that teams otherwise aren't going to sign them. They're just not going to alone just be like, yeah, we're going to go for Antonio Brown. So I think Antonio Brown's been talking to Brady the entire time, no matter what the rumors were in Tampa Bay. I mean, Tampa Bay obviously could have been like, we don't want AB. And then as soon as Tom comes in, Tom's like, oh, well, I really want him. I think he's a good guy. Then obviously, it kind of shifts a little bit there. But I don't know. I personally think it works out. I think Tom Brady's looking for another MVP ring, which I think he gets. I think he gets the MVP this year. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, when you look at it, I don't know about MVP. We're not going to get into that. I think as close as that he can get. I know Justin says he's still vouching for Casey on that. With this pickup, I think my belief is going to be that AB is going to be a better production than Le'Veon Bell and KC. Only because Le'Veon, when you look at just receivers and running backs, right? KC, they already have a great running back. They're going to have to cycle him in with snaps, and they're not going to always want to do that. It's tough to share the ball there.
They're also a pass-heavy offense, so
Right,
running backs don't necessarily thrive there. So I don't think Le'Veon's going to do anything super crazy. That's for sure.
When you move to the Bucs, who Brady's a passing QB, he rarely even runs the ball, but he's got some good running backs now with Fournette and Rashad Jones. So he obviously has them there when he needs them. But when you look at his offense when everyone's healthy, you got Godwin and Chris Evans. You're going to have AB. You're going to have 3 tight ends you can cycle through. Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, and Gronk. Gronk is going to catch everything you throw to him. O.J. Howard's going to catch everything you throw to him. And Cameron Brate is going to get you whatever yardage you need and blocks. And right now, for that, to me, that seems a lot more concerning than the KC offense at the moment with Le'Veon Bell. And I'm not saying that. I just automatically think the Bucs are now a team that can potentially beat the Seahawks, and we're going to get into the Seahawks and what they got for their defense, which is going to probably help them too. But I think that the Bucs are really a dominating team. It shows the last couple weeks. They've played some ant teams, but Las Vegas was pretty good. They're a pretty good team now. Their ranking is much better than past years, and they beat Green Bay. Green Bay was up 10-0 on them.
Exactly. No, I know. And not to disrespect Green Bay at all, but if we were to see a Seattle-Tampa NFC championship, boy, would that be a hell of a game.
And I think that with the weapons that Tom has, it's one of those things that Tom always did. He did it in New England. He had the weapons, and all he did is he brings a cherry to put on top of the cake. He doesn't need AB, but he knows that if he has AB, it's a guarantee that when he
just can't hurt.
Just think about a defensive strategy for a team when you're playing the Bucs. You want to double team Gronk. Well, that means you can't double team Godwin. You can't double team Evans, and you can't double team AB, and you got to watch the run. I'm telling you right now, I don't know much about defensive strategy and football in that sense, but I am fucking crying myself to sleep the day before we have to play the Bucs, thinking about that. Because I'm telling you right now, if you leave Gronk not double covered, he's catching everything, and all those other receivers are going deep, or they're going on a slant route, fade, whatever, call it what you want. And if Brady doesn't have anybody open, he runs it. That's concerning.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about Brady running it, but
No, not him running it.
I'm just shitting with you. I'm just shitting.
I'm talking about him running the ball for like Fournette and Rashad, not him running. Yeah,
Ronald Jones, but yeah.
Do we not think that this puts Brady at a MVP? I'm not saying he deserves it now, but he's not. We don't think it.
I don't think so necessarily.
You still have so many great. You still got. I mean, again, I love Tom.
I think it goes to Russell Wilson.
Weapons in the league, and I'm recognizing that. But I mean,
actually, Russ just threw 3 picks last week.
He did.
So that hurts his MVP odds.
But you still have.
I don't know who gets MVP.
You still have Mahomes, who's having a good season. You still have Russ. He had one bad game. Brady had a couple bad games himself with a pick or two, and this definitely helps the team. I don't know if it's going to help Tom. It definitely helps the team. It might help Tom, but he's got heavy competition still in the NFC, and you still have to talk about Patrick Mahomes. So,
I mean, on paper, before the AB signing, they were still the most talented roster just based on name on paper. Now they have AB. They are, again, just still the most talented roster on paper. At the end of the day, you got to go out onto the field and play football.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
We'll see what happens. But they have all the weapons, that's for sure. They are ready to make a championship run. We'll see if they do it.
Switch off, so we know the Seahawks, right, got Carlos Dunlap.
Yeah, that's a big signing for them as well. Or not signing, trade.
Yeah,
They lost their backup center, which should help Cincinnati because Joe Burrow has 0 seconds every single snap and has been struggling. He's literally third in pass yards and is just getting rammed every game. It sucks. I feel so bad for him.
How does it affect the Seahawks? How do we think they do?
Well, this is a. I'm just gonna say it real quick. Don't mean to monopolize it, but this is just a big week looking at these signings. I mean, like I just said a minute ago, the Bucs now have a unbelievable defense still, but a strong offense, very strong. Probably one of the stronger offenses that we've seen Brady have with weapons in a while.
Oh yeah,
Randy Moss and everything like that, and Gronk and Hernandez.
Oh, it's loaded.
It's loaded. I mean, he has a guy at every position that he needs, and his offensive line is unbelievable. A guy can fucking jump out of a pool, and he's an offensive line. He's 250 pounds. What the fuck is that? Guy could be going through Weight Watchers, and the man's jumping out of a pool. So now, with Carlos Dunlap, who's an amazing rusher on the side, you're going to have some pressure on Brady when the Seahawks are going to have to play them because they're going to have to play them, and that's going to be a crucial game. Give me a big game, and it's going to be a fun game, like Justin said. It's going to be a game to watch. That's going to be a big game. And I think Dunlap really solidifies that defense a little bit more for the Seahawks. And, when you have a strong defense, hopefully that helps Russ out on offense. But.
Dan, do you have any thoughts on these few signings here?
So hungry.
Or just NFL in general?
I'm just so hungry. I think.
I feel you, bro. It's been definitely a long day. Well, why don't we? So, I think the last thing we'll probably talk about is Dez.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see him back in the league. He's been saying that he had something left in the tank, and we'll see if he does. It's been a few years.
He's an interesting character too.
I mean, he's only on the practice squad too. He hasn't made the roster, so we'll see if he can get there.
Do you think he'll get there? I think he'll get there. I mean,
the Ravens receiving isn't anything crazy special, so he has an opportunity. We'll see. I would think if he was going to make the effort to get to a practice squad, he's in good enough shape to make the team. So we'll see in the next few weeks if it happens.
I think he'll put in his reps, and he's a hard worker. You've seen it, especially with the Cowboys. He's had his fair share of moments, like AB with hot-headedness. So I think the real concern there is not whether he can produce something for the team, because he definitely can. He definitely can help them when they play KC. Yeah. But I think that the problem there with Dez is he butts heads a lot. And I'd just be concerned for that because I think the Pats were looking at him at one point, and a couple other teams were, whether it was the Seahawks, I can't remember. So he's been looked at from many organizations, and the hot-headedness, I think, is one of the key things that kept him out of the league for a while. And that's another thing. He's been out of the league for a while. And not that he has,
and just his age too. Like he's not gonna be a Pro Bowl receiver, that's for sure. He might get
Dez looks like Megatron coming back right now. Had an unbelievable career for a while and leaves, and then he's coming back. Like Justin, taking it to hockey, Tim Thomas. On paper should change the game for the team, but it remains to be seen.
Yeah, Tim Thomas is a big question mark. One of the best seasons in history, and then just fell off the planet of the earth. I don't know what happened there.
So I think these signings I think the AB and Carlos Dunlap are the most crucial signings. I think the Dez for the Ravens is a good signing. Again, he's only on the practice squad, but I think that it's better for him to be on a team that needs him than just to be out there in the open. I would like to see the New England Patriots start making some moves for people that they
I don't know. We'll have to talk about the Pats next episode more.
Yeah, we will definitely. I think just
because there's a lot to say about them, and we're already running late here.
That's definitely a topic that's going to require a lot of discussion. But I think we'll wrap it up there.
One quick thing for any fantasy people out there that want to have a good week at any point. I think it's our duty to mention that shit. Tyler Lockett, if you don't have him, if he's a guy that passed your draft or he's on another team,
come up or trade for him.
Trade for him. Give everything. Give your fucking mother for that man, because that man had an unbelievable fucking game with 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. I got 40 points.
So who the hell is going to trade him? So who the hell is going to trade it? Who's going to trade him away? He's going to be damn near impossible to trade for.
He's going to be damn near impossible to trade. If you can get him, again, some people overlook Tyler Lockett in drafts and stuff. I almost did, but I picked him up, I think, on my third pick because I thought he produced well. I'm just saying, if you don't have him, get him. And Calvin Ridley as well. Kid's already got 7 points.
Wait, last thing that I want to mention before we head out. Did anyone I know I watched it because I like watching the Falcons lose. But did anyone watch the Falcons Lions game?
Wow, that was an embarrassment. Oh my goodness.
Do we this will be like the last quick thing, but do you blame, for the people who saw it, do you blame Todd Gurley on that play? Or
did you hear Matt Ryan in the huddle?
Yeah, so Matt Ryan did.
He goes, don't score. Don't score.
He said
it 3 times.
So I didn't see that till today. So until today, I didn't blame it on Todd Gurley. I'm like, the Falcons defense should come up with that. They should provide a stop. Like with a minute left, you should be stopping the Lions. But after seeing Matt Ryan say to him, and he said it multiple times, watch the video if you can. I believe I watched it on Yahoo Finance, or Yahoo Sports, sorry.
Finance. Got a business
major over here. I'm sorry. Yeah, Yahoo Sports, Matt Ryan continuously said to Todd Gurley, don't score. And then he scores. And then
they kind of pulled the chair out.
You could see the hesitation on him. Sorry. I was going to say you could see the hesitation on Todd Gurley. He almost just ran that thing in there. And I think it was in the back of his mind that he shouldn't have.
Well, they pulled the chair out from under him. So he knew he tried last second to knock it over. But the Lions were literally, they were on him, and then everybody let go of him. And then he kind of like tried to stay short. And they all were celebrating as he went in. And it's just so sad I feel so bad for any Falcons fans out there that may or may not be watching this. But man, to just know that you can, with literally 1 minute left, to already know that you're already just going to give it up down the other end. It's just terrible. You guys in fourth quarters.
Even if you get
touchdown, fourth quarter,
guys, even if you get that touchdown, you should not be giving up a whole football field length with 4 or 5 passes by Matthew Stafford for 20-plus yards getting down the field, and you should keep them to at least a field goal. There's no reason that There's no reason they should be scoring touchdowns.
I know.
There was not like.
And it's like when they were coming on the field, they knew they were going to lose it. They just don't. It's just tough to be a Falcon fan right now.
I just want every Falcon fan to look behind Jerry right now and look at the closest that you'll ever have been to a championship, because you guys at comebacks, you guys suck at keeping the winning lead in games, and you're going to end up like the Atlanta Thrashers. You're not going to have a team anymore.
I think the best thing the Falcons can do from now on is just make sure you're down, because it seems like they're pretty good at like getting up. So just stay down in the fourth quarter and then make a last. You can't do it with a minute left. Like 30 seconds. 30 seconds, make a last minute run, and then maybe you'll win the game. But who knows after that?
Best advice: lose the whole game, and then in the final 5 minutes, make a Tom Brady comeback. That's my best advice.
But yeah.
All right, we can wrap it up there.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you everybody for watching. If you're still here, I mean, we've been trying to make these shorter. Again, if you want anything for us to talk about, put it in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe. We would definitely appreciate it. We know we make mistakes.
Yeah, we're trying to make them a little shorter. I'm not so sure that we did that this time around, but we'll get better at that.
We'll get better
around 45, but we're gonna try and keep them shorter. But it gets heated in this. It gets heated.
Let us know if you want to talk about anything down below.
Yeah, put them in the comments.
Please just keep supporting us. We appreciate you guys. I don't know when this video is going to come out, but happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Stay safe.
Please don't spread COVID. Please.
Please.
Social distance.
Like. Tell your mother about us. Tell your grandmother. Tell your aunt. Bring them all to the video. Sit down with your family. Pop it on the TV. Your mom would love to see me. I'm sure she saw me the other night. And let's just let these things out there.
Got it there, Brian.
All right.
We're out of time.
Right.
See you guys later.
It's been real, boys.
It's been real, boys. See you later.